Rest in peace, BCS. We now move on to the 14 playoff. And of course, prior to the BCS, the polls meant everything. During the BCS, they meant almost everything, about 2/3 of the formula. Okay, you've got the Associated Press poll that goes back to like the 1930s. You've got the coaches poll that goes back just about as far. It used to be the UPI poll, now the USA Today poll. Okay, after the championship game and after we concluded our coverage here on Mark Rogers TV, I made out my top 25. I looked at the standings, looked at the results. Of course, the head-to-head matchups had a ton to do with where I would like to rank teams. Of course, if two teams played and they finished the season with the same record or within one game, I'm going to go with the team that won the football game on the field. That's a little easier said than done. Have you ever tried to do this? For example, Baylor went into the Fiesta Bowl at number 6. Oklahoma was number 11. Baylor lost to Central Florida by 10. Oklahoma, of course, had that impressive showing against the Crimson Tide, winning 45-31. Okay, so they both finished 11-2. You would think Oklahoma should be ranked ahead of Baylor, but yeah, they met on the field back in November, and Baylor squashed Oklahoma 41-12. It becomes a little bit more complicated. Of course, you're going to rank Baylor ahead of Oklahoma, but what about Oklahoma State? Oklahoma State thumped Baylor. And you've got a number of scenarios like that. So it's not an exact science, but here's my top 25. I'm going to make very little comments here. I'm going to wait for you to chime in with where I may have missed it, and then we'll start to discuss. Wow, that number one vote was very difficult. Florida State's number 1. Auburn 2, Michigan State 3, South Carolina 4, Missouri 5. South Carolina and Missouri played. South Carolina won. Go with South Carolina 4 and Missouri 5. Oklahoma 6, Bama 7, Stanford 8, Clemson 9, Central Florida 10. I got Ohio State 11, Oregon 12, Baylor 13, Louisville 14, LSU 15, Oklahoma State 16, 17 Arizona State, 18 UCLA, 19 Texas A&M, 20 Wisconsin. Of course, the Badgers had that phantom loss that was questionable because the refs blew the game at the end. Who knows who would have won the game, who would have made the kick, possibly. USC at 21, Duke at 22, Notre Dame 23, Washington 24, and Nebraska at 25. So there it is for consideration, for debate. There it is, our Mark Rogers top 25 for the second consecutive season. Now, we would love to hear from you.